Sonoma Raceway is a track of varying reputations, perhaps because it's a track of multiple permutations. The full layout, originally named Sears Point, has long been greatly respected, with no less a talented and brave soul than one Hans Stuck saying Sears Point was by far his favorite North American track. And its esteem is, of course, enhanced by the fact it lies in California's legendary wine country. The track is literally carved into the side of part of the Sonoma Mountains, and the massive elevation changes, most with blind corner turn-in and a crest right at the apex, or a blind full commitment plunge downhill, are breathtaking. It is one of the most serpentine technical challenges in North America, made even more so by historically being one of the country's biggest tire readers. Tonight, it welcomes the new full-sense Sims Esports iRacing Spec MX5 Series for its first visit. Hi folks, I'm Greg Creamer. Welcome to Sonoma and Round 10. As always, joining me is Kyle Heyer. And Kyle, tonight will be a true case of the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, certainly. We called it a number of different things over the years. Sears Point and Finion Raceway back in the day, now back to Sonoma. But this track's also seen a bunch of different configuration changes over the years. The short course was added at one point. It looked a lot different than it does now with the chute, but we're running the old-fashioned layout with the carousel. We've got the full turn 11. We've got the fast sweeping S's instead of that tight chicane. So we're running on the good layout tonight, I think, Greg. But it also has that drag strip back straightaway, literally a drag strip that leads into one of the tightest hairpins on the course. And that's a great passing opportunity, but it's a great, easy spot to get yourself into some trouble, too.
Yeah, it really is. You can overcharge that. Here's a look at the track itself. You can see the front straight, turn 1 and 2. That is a steep climb. It really is. And right at the turn-in point for one is a nasty bump on this old, obviously this is the pre-repaved version. So there's a nasty bump there you've got to account for. Turn 2, as I said, the apex right over the top of that blind brow. Same thing with 3A, which is the right-hander right after the number 3 there. And then 4, you just start to fall down the hill a bit, Kyle, before climbing and then dropping through the carousel.
Yeah, turn 5, challenging turn as the track drops away. It's hard to keep the car pinned to the apex, but you accelerate out onto that long back straightaway, set yourself up for turn 6 and 7. That's a great passing opportunity, as I mentioned, but you better get single file by the time you enter these serpentine S's. Big tall curbs on the apexes you can use to help rotate, but turn 10, that is a fast corner, one of the most fierce on the racetrack. Greg, even pre-broadcast, you told me it's a lot like the kink at Road America.
It has that feel, not a lot of runoff, and as you get into it, you approach it, you give it a little confidence lift just to get the nose to bite a little bit, then you're back hard on the throttle, and if it goes wrong, it's a biggie. But as you can see, those S's too, they start to tighten up. They get tighter and tighter as you go through them. Then it opens up as you just build speed through 9 and then flick it literally into 10. It is breathtaking. And then the full run here up to turn 11. A lot of the, like the IndyCar series, uses a shorter version. You can sort of see it there a little bit in the background, just past the timing tower. But this is the original layout for turn 11, and then through turn 12 back on to the front straight. It is a great layout. It is daunting. It is challenging. It's wonderful from my point.
Yeah, turn 12, not much of a corner in these cars. It's going to be flat out every lap of the event tonight. 2 20-minute races back-to-back. Qualifying is already underway, and at the top of the board, maybe no surprise to see Camden Hibbett here. I think we're going to be missing Morgan Burkhardt tonight, so Hibbett has got Skip Brock Jr. Michael Brock has had a really nice start to his night as well, currently sitting 3rd on the timesheets. But as far as the points go, Nicholas Rice-Budos has been the driver that's been at the pointy end the most of anybody.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, he's got 5 wins. Morgan is second with 4, but makes sporadic appearances here. Nicholas himself coming off a really good weekend of racing in the real world at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for the big Hoosier Super Tour event. Finished 7th in a massive field of Spec Racer 4 Gen 3s there in the first race after running in the top 5 for a lot of it. Then in the second race was back up into the top 7, had a mechanical issue and was out. But he's been Mr. Consistency. I mean, 5 wins, 16 top 5, 17 top 10s, and 6 poles. And the other part of it is, you look at, he is consistently the highest qualifier and he's right up there with Camden Hibbett as the 2 highest finishers, and Camden too running a little bit of a partial schedule here. So Nicholas, real world or sim racing, is having one hell of a season, Kyle.
He is not having one hell of a qualifying though, 15th at the moment.
No, he's not.
And he's run 4 laps. So I think maybe it's just a matter of getting a good clean one, but he's a full 2.5 seconds off the pace. So I would expect him to pick things up here a little bit. There have been some changes. This is iRacing build day. It's Christmas 4 times a year in iRacing. Every 13 weeks we get an update. Today is the Season 2 update for 2025. Included is a bunch of lighting updates, a whole bunch of other small quality of life things, some updates to some of the prototype machinery. But notably this racetrack it looks a little flat. There's some big updates coming to it soon, but not a whole lot as far as things that will affect the driver's side other than the lighting. Now I know for some VR, the sunshine was a big problem, just as far as the glare was an issue in the update today. So we'll see if that affects anybody here tonight. But Rice Budo right now just needs to find some speed.
Yeah, looked like he had a pretty solid lap going. Was watching his lines and his run, and still, well, that was better. Jumps him up at least into the top 9, and he needs to. He's got maybe 2 laps left, so he's really got to find it here and move up to continue to have his great qualifying run. Like I said, he's nowhere near that average start of 2.7. Boy, they do hop that curb there, don't they?
Yeah, they do right at the top of the hill there. That's a fun one. You can get really aggressive over it, but if you hit it too hard, I have seen cars get almost 45 degrees rolled over on that thing. That actually happened in the SRO weekend last year. There was an Integra TCX car that almost flipped over because of the high roll center there and just coming up over the crest. So it is a big, tall curb. You can get aggressive. You don't really get a cut course easily there in iRacing, so get up on that. That's true of all the curbs around here. You're going to see drivers hopping and skipping over those things in the S's and in the hairpins.
And by the way, I went through and took a look at the driver's briefing notes. And just to mention here, you talked about hopping the curbs and the like. If you get in the S's here and in any way straight line the S's, basically getting almost 4 tires on or behind those curbs, whether iRacing calls it or not, you're going to get a penalty from the stewards here, because they said that it can be a huge advantage, especially again not having. This place doesn't have the 3D curbs and all that yet, so they were very, very adamant about that. And let's see what kind of a lap he gets here. Now he didn't have any traffic at all on the lap. This isn't going to hurt him. Needs to better that 148.6.
It was better, but not by a lot. 48.61.
Not by a lot, yeah.
Huh. Maybe it just doesn't click with this racetrack. I mean, this is not a place that you drive often in iRacing. And I recall there were some studies done a couple of years ago on what are the most popular iRacing tracks in the service. Daytona, Watkins Glen, Spa, they were top of the list. Sonoma was one of the least used tracks in all of iRacing as far as road courses go, which is really a shame. But
yes, it is.
I think you're going to see some drivers that just don't click with it because they just don't run it all that often.
Well, that could very well be, for sure. I mean, and it definitely has a bit of a unique rhythm to it. I'll tell you, that run through the S's, like I said, it definitely tightens up. And in a way, this has it isn't similar to Road Atlanta. I mean, it's got the S's, but they're flat when Road Atlanta's was a big elevation change. But this track, like Road Atlanta, very little time where it's not changing direction, right? So, it's also a track that you're constantly changing directions, and until you click into that rhythm, sometimes it's just difficult.
Certainly is. Skip Rock Jr., nice qualifying run he's got going here.
Yeah, jumps up into second. Bean's doing a great job in third here as he says, all right, I'm done. Michael Brock, solid fourth. Jason Burke continuing to look really, really good here, isn't he?
I just really love that we've seen some drivers come on board this season that, they took their first couple rounds pretty carefully, but now all of a sudden they're starting to really show significant pace. I mean, outperforming, Josh Soto and Nicholas Rice-Budo. That's another driver to talk about. How about your second place runner in the standings? Seemingly, he's effectively given up on qualifying, 7th place, and he'll call it there. So he and Rice-Budo both struggling a little bit. Even Wan Shi Lin only 12th quick. So there are drivers I would have thought would do better here that maybe have not done the practice laps as some of the others in the group.
Yeah, I agree. I just think this is such a challenging place, and it's kind of, it's so technical that as you said, if you don't get a fair number of laps on it, it's not just going to come easily. The speed isn't just going to appear for you. You've got to really, really drive it and get comfortable with it. I have a feeling we might see some guys like Wan Shi, like Soto, like Rice-Budo, who as the race unfolds, will start to find more pace. Of course, they're going to have to fight through some pretty solid guys. And again, I'm impressed with Dylan Lee and Burton. Some really solid qualifying runs for them. I really enjoy that. You might notice that for the second straight race, Court is not running, and he's on the road right now. They've got another big trip where they're delivering sims and the like. So it's just been a wonderful time for him business-wise. And which kind of takes its toll, as all of us know, on getting behind the wheel when you want to sometimes.
Yeah, don't I know that? But once the season, my season kicks off at the end of this month, and it's going to start to get pretty crazy for me too. So I definitely feel that energy as we get closer to the start of the year. Qualifying complete. Camden Hibbett, Skip Brock Jr., your front row here, Greg. 2 20-minute races as we get set to go racing. I don't know where we're going to grid for this. I don't know if we get a full pace lap or a half. We're going to find out in just a moment. The weather has changed quite a bit. Look at this now. The clouds have come over, and it has significantly cooled things off. A couple degrees, but the humidity's way up, and it's dark.
Yeah, and that track temp plummeted. It was over 80 at the start of qualifying, wasn't it?
Yep.
So it's dropping off. And you kind of love this here as we see the field starting to set up and get ready to go here. As you said, 2 20-minute races. And I'm going to be fascinated to see, who's just obviously a couple of guys have figured this track out or have driven it before, whatever, and have it dialed. But for some of the other guys, just how quick they're going to make it up to the front. Big thanks. I mentioned Court Schmidt, Full Send Sims, Practice Makes Podium. They had a great sim competition at the FARA event this past weekend. A lot of people took part in that, and it was absolutely great to see. 3P Logistics, been with us since the beginning of what this series started as, is the Spec Miata 3 years ago, along with one of their contemporaries, Final Turn Motorsports, both of them from the beginning, and so great to have them here. Of course, we also have now Sabelt has, well, let's do FARA first.
Sorry,
I talked
about
that's okay. FARA has, just had a big race, their second round this past weekend, had a great turnout. Even with a ton of Spec Miatas at Mission Raceway Road Atlanta, they still had an almost 20-car field for the Pro Spec Miatas. It was great. I mentioned Sabelt. They have come on this year, and that is obviously just fantastic to have them on board. And as I've said many times, if you're looking for where to get your Sabelt accessories, give a walk. 2.5 years now, and we certainly appreciate everything that they're doing.
Well, getting set for our pace lap here. It'll be about 12 laps in this 20-minute race. Man, look, I'm just looking in the background. We know Sonoma's due for an update. They rescanned it last March. It was, we were hoping that would make this build, but it looks like it'll be June. But look at those ads in the background. The Dodge Chargers from 2006. That is quite the aged.
Yeah, that is a bit back there, isn't it?
Yeah,
I love that.
It is. All right, let's roll through the starting grid, Greg. In the first front row, Camden Hibbett kicking things off really strong. 4th place in the championship standings, even though he's run a couple less races than Rice-Budo. Some of those drops have already been factored in. Skip Brock Jr. starts up alongside him in that number 32, and he's followed by Beans Forster, Michael Brock, Greg in 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Skip also had a tremendous weekend at Mission Raceway Road Atlanta in that Hoosier Super Tour event in Spec Miata, so he's got some good groove going. Jason Burke will start 5th in the 52, the purple car. Dylan Lee will start 6th in the number 2. Starting 7th is going to be the 77. The gentleman 2nd in the points, Josh Soto. Starting 8th will be the number 6 of Elliott Burton. Starting 9th, the points leader, Nicholas Rice-Puto. And rounding out your top 10, Kyle, in the 69, Jeremy Fletcher.
Yeah, good to have Jeremy here with us. Competes in the Real World Global MX5 Championship. Ian Anderson rolls off 11th in the 147. Wan Shi Lin 12th in the number 68. Andrew Rosencroft rolls off 13th place in the number 80. He's got an onboard camera for us tonight alongside Deacon Greenfield, who does as well. Bob Mueller Jr. and Seth Spolman, Greg, make up 15th and 16th. That's row 8.
Then starting next up in 17th, the number 3 of Chris Lambeth. Starting in the 18th spot, the 89 of Jim Friedhofer. Starting in the 19th spot will be the 9 of Daniel Higgins. Spot the number 50 of Stephen Blethenkow.
Yeah, Dave Perez rolls off 21st. Jose de las Casas in the number 717 starts 22nd. And bring up the tail of the field, Arif Aziz in the number 212 makes up our 23-car starting grid here tonight. Field works their way through the S's. Next time through, triple digits through here, Greg, and probably single file.
Yeah, I would certainly think so. Pretty difficult plays to go side by each, as they say. Here is the approach. You know, you come through turn 9, you're just building speed here for turn 10. And really nigh into impossible to go through here side by side once again. Quick point here, you see Skip Rock there on the left of that front row. Remember, he comes in here 5th in the points, fell back a bit at our most recent round with Rice-Puto and Soto back in the order. This is an opportunity for him to get a little bit more up into the play here. But here we go, field starting to settle up, pace car is in. And you work your way around this turn 12, as you said, really non-existent in these cars. And here we go, we're green! We are racing, and let's see what happens here. Skip Brock has a nose ahead as they come. Now watch for the bump here. You see them all hitting it right there. And still side by side, Brock has the position, but Camden floating a lot of speed around the outside. He's got that inside position for 3.
Great start. We keep everyone pointing the right direction, but they're still side by side for the lead here. Brock Jr. is going to power through in turn 3. Little contact, and Hibbett goes for a slide. And here comes Beans Forster. He's center 3 wide here as we head to 4.
Oh, that is a massive squeeze play. Somehow, at least thus far, everybody's still good. They're still 3 abreast now, down through 4A, up into 5 right there. And now falling into the carousel. Lee way wide.
Yeah, he's out wide. He's going to squeeze Rice-Puto, who's in the middle, trying to make up spots there with that poor qualifying effort. He's going to get around the 6 of Elliott Burton. And now, finally, your one chance to breathe here on the back straightaway heading to turn 7.
Yeah, and Skip Rock looked like he had the lead for a minute, but Camden having some internet issues here. But nice outside move by Michael Brock. What a start he put in. 4th, and while everybody was playing about, he...
Oh, trouble. Dylan Lee went around in front of the field. The 147 gets tagged. He's back in the middle of the road. Everybody dodges and weaves.
What a shame.
We just caught the start of that as I switched to a different camera.
Yeah.
But Dylan Lee got caught right here. Watch him on the inside here of Burke. Gets squeezed up onto the curb, and that's what sends them around.
Yeah, but it wasn't Lee that was the one who was hit and caused the airborne here. Who got that? Was that Burke?
Yep.
Nope. Wasn't him. Wow.
For the lead, it is wild up here.
Yes, it is. Well, one thing about this track, not a lot of drafting opportunity here. So this place, I think we're just going to see raw racing. And it isn't the easiest place to pass either, is it, Kyle?
No, but they're making it happen, aren't they? Nicholas Rice-Puto to 5th, 9th to 5th in 1 lap, but he's looking for more.
Yeah, it's force of will at this point, I think, and doing a really nice job. But mega impressed with Brock here. Coming up through it here, just displaces Forster firmly at this point. On board with Rice-Puto. And that turn, I wanted to mention it, they call that 3A, basically. And next time we go through it, we get a wide shot as we watch this little battle, as we see now the 77 of Soto trying to do the same thing, make up ground here, but he's on the outside of Burton here, and that's a tough way to get through the carousel. But if he has that enough bit of overlap, and he doesn't, and he has to run wide, but he kept the momentum alive, Kyle.
He did, and I was going to note, where'd the clouds go? In a lap, they're gone.
Yeah!
Big cloud system
just
went by the sun, and now we're back under full daylight. It was almost nighttime. It was so dark here.
It seemed like it. But and now Brock is a little bit out of position here. Forster's worked his way through, and Beans back up into that 3rd spot. Brock 4th, and that looking back at your points leader, Rice-Puto, who is hangry.
Yeah, I think Rice Pudo's going to do a lot better in race conditions than he did in qualifying. Racing is a lot different than hot lapping, and I don't think he was. Whoa, he's way off in the dirt at turn 10, but he'll keep his foot in it, and he's going to look for a pass at 11.
Wow, and he keeps the momentum alive, but that got nulled immediately as Beans had to turn in big time because of Brock, but he does get through on Brock, at least temporarily. And look at this, side by side for the lead. Boy, they are going after it, Kyle.
They are racing. You see the slight smile there on Captain Hibbett's face. New players in the game here this week without Morgan Burkhardt here. Skip Brock Jr. has shown up to party and dived straight for the apex there to block off Hibbett.
Well, did you see the line Hibbett ran? He was trying the wide rim shot, and you can make that work if you can roll one, enough speed, and two, if the guy like Brock leaves that opening. Skip sensed it, shut that door firmly.
To turn 4, down the hill. Your track drops away there a lot too. It's a much tighter corner. You know what, it almost reminds me in some ways of turn 8, the heel of the boot at Watkins Glen, where it always is a little bit inviting to go in there 10 miles an hour hotter than you need, and Hibbett runs wide on the entry to 5.
Yeah, that was just a mistake. You could see him, if we go back to a replay, he tried to get his nose on the outside of Brock, and he just ran too wide with the mark. See, right there. And it wasn't Brock doing anything. He took his normal line, but Hibbett just got shuffled wide, and as a result, temporarily lost the spot. Ooh, Brock! Michael Brock running wide, and it's going to let Rice Pudo get a really good run here through the S's.
Josh Soto
Brock's got position, though.
Trying to figure out which lane to pick here.
Yeah.
Well, solve that problem. Now this is the only lane he's got to choose.
Now watch this through 10. Coming up right here. Feathers it. Gets back on it. You can see again Rice Pudo and Michael Brock go mega wide. Deep on the brakes goes Soto. And Rice Pudo, smart enough to see that coming and knew if he turned in, there'd be contact and let him through. But Soto got through. Both Brock and Soto, and Rice Pudo suddenly has lost a couple of spots. That's not the direction he wants to go.
These top 3 continue to fight tooth and nail for that lead position here, with Hibbett now the pointy end of the stick. And even a little in the background there, I see Jeremy Fletcher and Deacon Greenfield and Wan Chi Lin going at it here.
Yeah, they're having a heck of a run here.
Yeah, Deacon didn't get a great qualifying effort, but he's up 4 spots.
The guy's a racer, isn't he? He really is. It's just fun to watch him at work as we keep an eye on there. Another guy who had a good start, I think, was Jose De Las Casas, who has fought his way up about 3-4 spots. So good job for him as well. Look at this battling here.
Love this downhill carousel. That curb starts really late, so you can't get right down against the dirt until right at the exit. And then it just sets you up for this long run into a great passing opportunity. Long kind of double apex hairpin here.
Ooh, he's going to go for it. He's thinking about it. Wasn't close enough. Floats out wide. Nothing he could do there either. And I'll tell you, one of the things that sometimes you don't think about with this this track is, just the asphalt's a tire eater, but it's made so much worse by turns like that carousel that just go on forever.
Yeah, a lot of.
And you can hear the tires protesting even when we're on board.
Yeah, a lot of sustained G in a lot of these corners. Whoa, on G. A little bit of a slide there. And Beans Forster going for second here on Skip Brock Jr. Camden didn't have a lot of pressure that lap, but I think that was the signal for Beans to go. A little battle side by side, Soto and Rice Pudo here for 5th.
Well, I'll tell you what, all this battling at the front is keeping this front group. Yeah, you got those little mini gaps, but there's not much as we go down to the top 10. They're separated by only 3.5 seconds. So this is going to be a fun one all the way through. Now, here's what I want you to watch for, folks. As you come up through this next right-hander, this is the left, this is technically 3, and then you come up here, the next one's 3A. Look to your left. See how close that wall is? If it's only a few feet, if you overdo it and go off that outside curb, but if you don't have both of your left side tires on that curb and at its farthest reach, you're slow. And you have to do that here. In sim racing, it's a challenge enough. In real world racing, it's darn near terrifying.
Andrew Wozencroft putting a little bit of pressure on Elliott Burton. Now we got a great perspective of his on board. Triple screens helping him see all the way around. He'll need those in these tight hairpins to see where he's going.
Oh, and he's got a great lunge way down to the inside, assuming he gets woed down. Burton trying to stay with him around the outside. If Burton can do that, he'll have the right inside or the left inside lane here for the S's, and he does. And I have seen many times in real world racing, had Wozencroft tried to fight that and they touched, Wozencroft was going to spear to the inside right into the wall. So he did the right thing there.
The lead, a little bit of pressure, getting mounted on Camden Hibbett. Again, Beans Forster now the one applying it.
Michael Brock going defensive.
Oh, and offensive, and contact.
Oh, no! Oh, and he almost gets Brock upside down. That just was incredibly over-optimistic.
It just all kind of came to a head down there.
Yeah, he came from way too far back.
Yeah, gets hung up on the tire bundles right there, too.
Oh, and it caught out Burton big time.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame. That's going to break that pack up. Yeah, watch it here.
Andrew Wozencroft got taken out in that as well. Oh, look at Wozencroft.
Ooh.
He came in from a mile back. I think everyone was checking up, anticipating the wreck, and he didn't see it or didn't know. Watch this 80 car come sailing in. Wow. Oh, it took out Rice Puto.
Oh, my goodness, he sure did. I wonder if that was a case of some target fixation.
Maybe. I think Rice Puto's still rolling, but he's got big damn. Oh, this car's destroyed.
Oh, no.
Look at the right side of this when it comes back around on the camera here. That thing is.
Oh, look at that right front. Yeah. That's massive positive camber.
Yeah, it's not going to last, I don't think. He's down in at 13th place and dropping. So that is your points leader.
That's massive.
And remember that this race feeds into the next. If you're going to have a problem, you'd much rather have it happen in race 2 and at least get one good race in. But this is going to hurt him badly. And it's a hard place to pass, as you pointed out.
It is. And, like you said, he keeps plummeting. He's going to be starting so far deep in the field. Meanwhile, Forster, Soto, Hibbett are all running at the top of the field right now. And Burkhardt's not here. So what an opportunity for these guys. And I'm just really interested now. Look at the gap they have. Weather Beans, geez, this has flown by. We're already at only 9 minutes to go. Weather Beans is going to give it the full beans and try and get around Hibbett here, with Hibbett a fair ways back in the points, although only 12 behind Forster, so I guess he certainly is going to give it all he can, and does.
Whew.
Wow.
There might have been a little cooperation there, I'd have to imagine, because Hibbett just slowed way up.
Or did Hibbett miss a gear?
That could have been too.
Yeah.
Well, they swapped spots. They're 4 seconds clear of the next car, which is Josh Soto. So they've got some time to kind of play around and see which locomotive is the strongest one to haul the train here.
Well, and that's a good point. And I also think maybe Hibbett was saying, well, now I'd rather follow for a little bit, not be the carrot, and just see what Bean's doing. But like I said, it's so tough to pass here. To me, that's big risk. Soto back by 4 seconds, but about a second clear of Brock, who, after all that, with Skip Brock, Michael Brock is still running and running competitively, but Lynn now up into 5th. Yeah,
Wanchi Lynn, he has stuck this out, and it's working out for him. 12th to 5th, and Jeremy Fletcher 10th to 6th, so good progress here for the 69 as well. Deacon Greenfield 14th to 7th, another big gain here. And you see up the road, Wanchi to the inside of Michael Brock in that 421.
See if he gets to make that stick. It's really difficult here. Yeah. Again, you have to tighten up your radius just a little bit there, and you know that if you stay to the inside and there's contact, it's going to be big. So I think that's pretty smart for him. And how about Mr. Friedhofer doing a nice job getting through all that mess, running top 9 right now. Great job with Burke behind him.
Yeah, from the tail of the field too. That's a long ways back.
Yep.
And there has been what I would call a fair rate of attrition, because that big incident at 11, 4 cars that have had to come to pit lane and get some damage repaired, which is more than we would typically expect for a track like this. And the start was so clean. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. It was just a couple of wild moves. What's impressing me here is that Skip Brock, I'm watching his times, even with that contact, he's still lapping as fast as anybody in the field. So he's got a really quick car here, so that's pretty cool.
Jeremy Fletcher The JFR car passed Wan Shi Lin. Not far past him. He's got Wan Shi right on his tail. Love this curb hop there at turn 3A. Love that little.
Brilliant.
And then my favorite thing is when you're in a car that has a little bit heavier than this, where you have to brake a little sooner, you get on those rumbles and you get them when you slow down.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
It is. It absolutely is here. And trying to watch here too. I'm looking at some of the times. Deacon Greenfield he's running really quickly here.
Last time by ran a 49.4, which is matching everybody ahead of him.
Quicker than Lynn went. Yeah, exactly. Makes up a lot of ground under braking here, and was more than just the accordion. He closed it up a little bit.
Stay on board. This camera is gyro stabilized horizontal. Watch how much the car is going to get up in the air here. You see the world kind of shifting as he climbs up on the curbs. That's a cool shot.
It really is. All right, let's see what he does through 10 here. Early turn in.
Yeah, get the right front of that curb, and the car is happy to get up on that and rotate with the curb strike there.
Yep. Especially if you use that, to kind of hook you through the corner.
It's really the fast way around here in any car I've found, at least in iRacing. You get the tires up on the curbs and just let them kind of tow you around. Just have to be careful not to get too much of it. These cars are pretty happy to take as much curb as you throw at them, though.
Well, that's evidenced up in 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Serious amount of pounding up there.
They trained for NASA rocket launches over there, I think.
Yeah, no kidding. Watch it here again now. Boy, I'll tell you, Greenfield all over Wan Shi here. Wan Shi giving it a big jump over the curb, and Deacon keeping it a little bit more mellow.
Missed there we go. Boom. Right over the top.
Has 3 tires in the air.
We've seen 4 at times, though, so I won't give Sonoma the A+ just yet. Wait till we get to Watkins Glen and the bus stop. We'll see 8 tires off the ground there.
Yeah, that's flight school.
Yeah.
Look at this scrap, though. How good is this? Forster, Hibbett, they're just, like you said, I don't know whether Camden let him by or missed a gear or whatever, but he is now going to school, that's for sure.
And we're watching on board with Camden Hibbett. We're watching Beans Forster. They're probably just chatting and talking, but look at the heart rate, still up in the 130 BPM range.
Yeah. What's it going to do into 10 here? Yeah, pretty calm.
Yeah, they're just hanging out. They've gained time on Soto, so I don't know that there's a lot of pressure on these two until we get to the white flag lap, which at 1:49 and 3 minutes 42 to go, we're probably closing in on 2 laps to go if I had to guess.
Oh, Beans got a nice run through 11 there. Opened up a couple of car lengths gap. That's 12, as you pointed out, that really doesn't even exist.
Yeah, just full throttle, and you have to put in so little steering input.
Yep. Elliott Burton just coming out of the pits after his involvement. Oh, and a big wobble for him.
Cold tires, you get those things warmed up a little bit. That was actually one of the big updates in iRacing today was cold tire updates on the GTP cars, and I can confirm they are very sketchy now on the cold tires.
Yeah.
Look at this battle, Brock and Fletcher.
Oh, man. Well, Fletcher was feeling the heat from Wan Shi, who was feeling the heat from Deacon. So, as we've said before, sometimes best defense, good offense. Get going. And he did. Got around on Brock.
Wan Shi lunge up the inside of Brock into 5. It's going to get compressed right here at the apex. Not a lot of room there.
Nope. Brock tried to squeeze him a little bit, and Wan Shi just held station. And you can see what happened. Brock just the car suddenly just sort of walked its way wide a little bit, and he had to just breathe out of it. Now he's wide. Look at this. We might see Deacon try and just stuff it up the inside. Now Deacon, whoa! I thought Deacon.
Wan Shi, maybe a slowdown he had to serve. He had to lift, yeah.
Yep.
So he'll
for a second I thought that Deacon was just going to wallop the back of Wan Shi or of Brock there, but they were both trying to avoid Wan Shi slowing, weren't they?
Yeah, that's an awkward place to have to slow down. Here comes Camden Hibbett to the outside at 11. Not a lot of grip way out there, though. He'll have to try that again.
Yep. This is going to be last lap. No, we should get, yeah.
It's going to be white this time, I think.
Yeah. And this is probably one of the shortest pit straights as the white comes out anywhere. Look at that. There's just nothing to it.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, now Camden's, he's been playing that outside move. And Beans gave him a little bit of room, but made it pretty challenging. So now where do you think?
I mean, you can look at it at 7 or you can look at it at 11. I'd much rather set myself up for 11 and leave no recourse for Beans.
Yep.
But if you kind of stand the chance of making a mistake somewhere in the S's and losing your opportunity.
Exactly. Beans has been really good in through 11. Whole different thing going into 11. Boy, Hibbett is really good through the carousel here.
Yeah, so he'll have an opportunity to go, and Michael Brock's had problem. I don't even know where he is. We'll have to. We'll take a look at that after the race. But here comes Hibbett. He's going to look up the inside at 7.
Not really sure why Beans would have left that open. Now he's going to try. Ooh, that curb hop may have given Beans an opportunity. They're side by side, and at this point, you're just going to go with it, try and hang it. He can't do it. Hibbett is through, so it is all at turn 11 this time, unless somebody makes a mistake. Here we go.
That's why I think he let him have the inside at 7, because then he'd be the one on offense in the final opportunity to make a pass.
And you know Hibbett's going to try and defend. There he goes. Beans ready for it. Ooh, that's going to make it challenging. Now Beans going to try and do the over-under. No! Hibbett covered that to absolute perfection, and Hibbett is going to win it. You can see sort of a rueful grin come across the face of Beans Forster as he let it get away from him at 7. Look at how close this battle is. Deacon goes around on 1G Lin, last corner, and brings it home in the 6th spot. Lin in 7th. They both got through on Brock after he went AWOL out there. Dylan Lee 9th. Brock might end up still in 9th. And then Lambeth up into 10th. Boy, what happened to Jason Burke here?
He was that car that got turned around with the 2 early on in the race at 7. So he battled back to 13th. Yeah, so
that was actually not a bad ride.
Yeah, Deacon with the P5. That's why we saw him fist pumping there. He managed to get by Juan Shi Lin and steal 5th place away. So he was really stoked. 14th to 5th. What a drive there by Deacon.
A phenomenal drive.
Confidence boost that I think he needed after how his season has gone.
Yeah, you bet. And you know what? You'd love to get that in the first race, because then you hope you can just carry that right into race 2. And you know now you've got speed, you've got racecraft, and you can get after it here. Now Camden Hibbett comes in here 4th in the points, 12 behind Beans. Beans comes in 3rd in the points, and only 8 behind Soto. Soto ended up back in 3rd. He had a fighting 3rd place considering where he started. Fletcher and then Deacon Greenfield. Good top 5. And Skip Brock, a great fight back to 7th.
Yeah, nicely done. Dylan Lee, remember he got caught up in that crash at turn 7, rebounded for an 8th place. Michael Brock ended up down 9th. He slipped late in the going there. Chris Lambeth, we didn't really talk a lot about him, but he grabbed a 10th. Nicholas Rice-Sputo, that's the one that's going to sting, 20th place after the contact at turn 11.
Yeah, that car, you can just see it. And, he couldn't turn a decent lap after that, and he just had to pull over. So that's going to be a fight. He did come in here 30 points clear of Soto. And remember, he's going to have some drop opportunities, but still, he had a great fight. Looked for a while, he fought up into that top 5 and looked like, all right, he might be on the way here. And then it all went wrong.
Yeah, this is the replay of what happened to Michael Brock in the 421. I didn't know where he was when he had his incident, but this is going into the carousel here, and it just goes straight like he had a problem of some kind. And then he got rolling again. So I'd love to jump on board and see if there was something else at play.
Yeah, there's a little wobble.
He was under control. I wonder if there was something off screen, maybe. Dog or cat doing something that they shouldn't be.
I don't know.
That's typically what happens when you have something like that, but just a quick Control-Alt-Delete to reset. Could have pulled the wheel off the hub, too. I've done that before.
Oh, okay.
And then here's
that. Cat bite your legs?
Oh, yeah. I'll do that all the time. Here's that battle again, this last half lap here. Look at this. This is great stuff.
This really is. I'm still a little confused as to why Beans left that open. When Camden hopped that curb, I think Beans had maybe an opportunity here, tried it, but then he had a double hop on those curbs. Camden got through cleaner. But now watch him up here through turn. This is 9. Now up into 10. Beans got a great run. He's got that little bit of a toe here. He had a great run here, didn't he, Kyle?
He did, and I think, you know, the setup for the exit, if you watch, and this is obviously distracting, but if you watch on exit here, watch the run Bean starts to get right there. He starts to get it, but Camden had kept it so tight that there was no way that Forscher could have stayed in the throttle. Now, these tire bundles down here do not move when iRacing. Trust me, I have tested them. They do not move. So you can't drive through them or knock them out of the way like you could if they were movable objects like they are in some of iRacing's rallycross courses. So just, you know, immovable object there. I think that Beans left the door open at 7 so that he could have the run at 11, because that's really your last pass opportunity. So I don't know if I even care to defend here, because I don't want to have Camden try to pass me at 11. I know he's gonna. So leave yourself the chance to do it back to him. But you know, that he didn't really get as aggressive on the entry to 11 as I would have liked. Let's go back down here to 11 again.
Yeah.
And watch on exit here. There's opportunity for Beans to pull hard right at the exit, right before Camden goes to cover. Right here, turn right, get up underneath him, but he didn't, and that crucial half second was what let Camden get defensive.
But let this roll. With the speed Beans has here, how about just pop outside really quick?
Yeah, you can. It's
a little overlap.
It's just tough. You kind of run out of gear in these cars. When you go to the clutch pedal, you kind of lose all your momentum. If you're in a paddle shift car, maybe you could keep that going. But I agree. Yeah. There's so many different ways to dissect that, but what a great battle between those two at the end.
Fabulous. I mean, about as close as it gets. Great stuff. Right, as you said, to that checkered flag, and interesting points implications as well. And the best part is we get to do it again. And you know, I mentioned at one point how fast that race went. That's because this track, it's just nonstop. You know, it's constantly turning, curb hopping, climbing hills, dropping down hills. It just is an exciting place to watch a race, to call a race, certainly to drive a race.
Yeah, certainly. And we are hearing also Michael Brock's screen went black, which sounds consistent to
okay.
some
well,
kind of
do it.
momentary problem there. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully he's got that resolved for the second race of the night. You mentioned how fast they go. All the races are 20 minutes. Some of them just go by a little faster.
Yeah, that's a good point. They are all the same. That just sometimes they sure feel quicker or slower. And, you know, for Brock, boy, thank goodness he wasn't in a part of the track where if he goes off, he whacks a wall.
Yeah, I honestly got lucky with that. There's a number of ways. I mean, you know, going back to what we saw happen with down at the hairpin, you know, there's all sorts of ways that could have gone really ugly. Let's replay of that. Let's see if we can go back.
Yeah.
Well, this is not the thing I thought I had. No, but here, this is the race start. I want to go back and look at this for a minute because this was a thing of beauty. Look at this.
Yeah.
How tight and organized this pack was. This is hard to get in iRacing.
Look at Rice Puto down to the inside, man. He got a good jump early. Look at him. That's 1-2 spots. Yeah, this is great.
Really nicely done. It's hard to get a pack up through here without having somebody go off, and they just did an excellent job at it.
Yeah, everybody gave their competitors a little bit of room. That was really, really good.
So hopefully we can do that again, although we've seen, there was the contact there with Camden Hibbett. But you know,
I didn't see Hibbett get stat sideways before. That was crazy.
Yeah, he got kicked out.
Hell of a save.
Kicked out pretty good there. But we've always said that the stats have told us that race 2 typically has a little more aggression in it, so we'll see how that affects us here in just a moment's time. Warm-up is complete. We'll head back down to the racetrack and do this again. Predictions?
A little more. I have to clarify something. A little more aggression. Is that longhand for carnage?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
That's the politically correct term.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to see, I mean, you know, one more of the same. And if we don't get that sort of top third pack, you know, incident, we had a good 10 cars that were really, you know, going after it here. Jeremy Fletcher really showed some speed there. And I think the guy to watch is probably Skip Brock because he's been so fast. And we'll see what he's going to be able to do here after having dropped back to 7.
One of those days I wish I could do full-on split screen, because wouldn't it be cool to just sit on board the nose cam of Nicholas Rice-Puto here for the first couple laps while we watch the rest of the race? He is going to have a busy time, and I would say that a top 8 is probably reasonable. I think a top 5 or more would be unbelievable starting from 20th place. We'll see if he can do it. He's going to have 20 minutes and about 12 laps to get it done.
Yeah. Well, he's if anybody could do it, he can. And after what Deacon did from 14th to 5th, that confidence is pinging for him right now, so he'll be fun as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, starting right up at the front. Don't let the confidence get to you, though, and make a mistake early on just trying to, make something impressive happen. He did a really great job, had some great pace. If he just does that again, he'll guarantee himself another top 5.
That Chris Lambeth, man, that was obviously he got helped in that number 3 right there, by that incident, but he got through it clean, shown some good speed. I'm not familiar with him, but he did a really nice job.
He is brand new. This is his first round.
Yeah.
So top 10 in his first race. Cool looking colors on the car too. Nice kind of satin finish on it.
Yeah, and then the bold looks like this outline.
Yeah.
Or be old. No, bold, probably.
Yeah. So he's doing a nice job to kick things off. We'll see if he can back it up here in race number 2. Let's have a look. Starting lineup left side here. Whoa.
Skip off there.
He's had a history of some pace lap situations, not of his own doing. Back at Willow Springs, if you recall.
I do indeed.
West Coast
not of his own doing.
West Coast has been tough. Oh boy. There's your starting lineup on the left-hand side of the screen. This is your race results from race 1. And Dylan Lee in the number 2. He got kind of squeezed up onto that curb, a little aggressive maybe. There was an opportunity to back out, but to me, he had a little overlap, but just got to keep that in mind next time he's in that position, because neither of those two drivers came out the other side in one piece.
Yeah, and you make a good point. And again, in those in the driver briefing notes, the way they said it was that if you can see the nose of the car alongside you, you can't just shut the door.
Yeah, which I like.
But
I know you never like
too.
The getting up to the axle. It's like, well, he's going to spin you out then. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, yeah. But conversely, they said if you can see the rear, the taillights of the car in front of you through your windshield, it's not your turn. Get out of it. So I like that they're giving very specific reference points as to what overlap would be, acceptable overlap or insufficient overlap. I like that.
Yeah, I think, just mathematically, if you can see the taillights, they're going to be clear. So I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. It's like parallel parking. If you can, use the corner of draw a line from where you are to the front corner of the car, and that's where the curve is.
All right, pace car in. We are getting ready for round 2. It'll be Camden Hibbett leading him up the hill. And let's see what happens here. Again, basically they come through turn 12 and they're green immediately. Boy, Hibbett really struggling with connection.
And watch the graphics.
But here he comes. We're green, just that fast. And up the hill we go here in short order. Wanchi Lin on the outside. Looking for Rice-Puto.
Oh,
Didn't
spin.
look like he was. Oh, and a spin.
Soto. And they're going to pile up some more at the back end. Rice-Puto he's got damage.
Oh, he does, right on the nose. Unbelievable.
We'll go back and look at it later. Battle's still on up front.
It is Forster around the outside. How about JR? Jeremy up into second. What a great run there. Hibbett slips to third. Wanchi is fourth. Deacon stays in fifth. That was just absolutely wild what happened there. That was Soto, and it looked like he may have had an internet dropout.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that tonight. And again, this is iRacing build day. There's all sorts of little things that can pop up that will get patched out, and this could be one of those things that has been exacerbated.
Look at Nick in the background. He was 2 car lengths off at the bottom of the carousel.
Squeeze play here with Lynn and Hibbett. But
that was a nice.
One of the things we didn't talk about as far as updates today is there's now a connection meatball flag, where if your connection is unstable, in theory it'll give you a meatball flag with a Wi-Fi symbol on it. It'll basically teleport you back to the pits, which is replacing the old behavior of just kicking you out of the server. So I haven't seen that in play tonight, but I have seen a lot of cars with pretty shady looking connections tonight, and I don't think it's all on the drivers.
No, I agree. It's just way more than normal here. And big defense by Deacon on Dylan Lee right there with Skip Rock right behind him. Here's Rice Pudo. He's trying to get down underneath Friedhofer and Spellman at the same time. And he definitely has a little wrinkle on the nose, doesn't he?
Yeah, let's go back and see if we can. So Rice Pudo got tangled here with Lethen, I think, in the 50. This is almost a separate incident of its own. Watch the silver car here. He's going to go 3 wide. That was aggressive.
Yeah, it was. It paid the price a little bit there.
And then
got some air even.
Yeah, the 77 was a completely separate issue. And yeah, you're right. He had a connection. That's unfortunate there. He gets tagged by, I think that was Deacon Greenfield there. But I don't know if I can blame Deacon because you can't avoid a car you can't see.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, and that just sent him all the way around. Super unfortunate. And now he's right in front of Jose de las Casas out there.
With all that out of the way, Skip Rock Jr., Dylan Lee, this is a battle for 6th. Forster leads, Fletcher 2nd, Camden Hibbett 3rd. They're a little ways back, 6/10 back from Beans Forster, so now a little bit of co-opetition may be needed to catch that 23.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Fletch in that last lap ran a 57.7, Beans a 57 flat. And wow, Fletch, did he just move out of the way there?
Yeah, Hibbett's going to go back by through the 132.
I think Fletch gave that to him.
I agree. Good call.
Yep, I think Fletcher's going, I'm not in this points thing. And clearly Hibbett's a little quicker right now. And a smart move by Fletcher because then, he can go to school on Hibbett right now. I mean, he knows Camden's stupidly fast, right? So what's he doing? I just can't quite match that pace. And maybe this will give him some insights. And Hibbett will, as you said, I don't know if it's going to be a draft bridge so much here, but he might just haul him up a little bit and get them both back into contention because Forster was checking out. Meanwhile, things are normal back in the pack.
Yeah, I was going to say for
Crazy.
Hibbett, D, all of the above. That there's so many.
Yeah.
I think that's all of Fletcher's reasonings. Plenty of time left in the race, but I think for all the reasons you said, smart decision to kind of get in behind a driver that's a little quicker and see if he can tow you back to the front, learn some things along the way. This battle between Jason Burke and Michael Brock and Nicholas Rice Pudo is pretty fierce. The damage on Rice Pudo's car is significant, but we don't have a ton of straightaway here, so it's not going to be the end of the day for Rice Pudo.
Yeah, and his last lap was 1.1 seconds quicker than Burke, almost 3 seconds quicker than Brock. So he's definitely still got speed.
That's good news because he can't really afford to have a couple. Oh! Tags Burke. Burke's going to go for a slide and a ride, and he gathers it up right on the edge of the road.
Man, that was a marvelous save.
A little contact there right near the apex.
Was there?
I think so. Either that or a bunch of net code. Let's look again. Watch Rice Pudo. Yeah, right there.
Just this little graze, wasn't it? Yeah.
A nice save.
I'll tell you, this guy has been impressing me. That kind of a save, that is pretty cool. But he's just been really, really fast, impressive, and everything here. So really enjoying that as we watch Brock and Lambeth.
Yeah, Lambeth has been impressing me. First night, top 10 in race 1, 8th in race 2, and putting on a show here, trying to climb higher than that.
Ooh, a little wide there at that apex, and that's going to hurt him.
We have drivers left here, though, and the track kinks to the left twice before you get to the next right-hander, so he should be able to clear Brock. Almost.
Yep. Well, Brock's going to try that high side run. It's really tough to do unless you've got great skills and a ton of confidence. But yeah, I'm impressed with Lambeth too. This is really, really good. And he may be, and I didn't get a list or anything on who may have moved up from SM, but he may have.
Yeah, just really, really solid stuff here.
Yep.
Battle for, this is 8th on the racetrack. And we've
lost Pudo up to 10th. That's not too shabby.
It's not. I think he's probably going to stall progress at 8th place, though, because the next car is Skip Rock Jr. 3 seconds up the road.
Yeah,
that's a lot to ask.
That's a good point. Yeah, it is.
That's kind of where I said top 8 would be impressive. He might just get there.
Well, now he's going outside here, and I would think he'd dive to the inside while Michael Brock there in the 421 tried to do the outside move, and now it's Pudo that he's alongside of. Pudo, yeah, it's so tough to make that stick. Look at his counter move.
Ooh.
Oh, he's got Brock off his rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, Brock actually had a good run on Lambeth and had to stomp on the brakes to not hit him, and that's what opened the door for Pudo again. Look at Ian Anderson in the 141.
Wow, he's having a great run too. Yeah, I think, and this is absolutely no discredit to Lambeth. I think he's doing a fabulous job, but I think right now he's punching just a smidge above his weight at this stage.
I'd say so.
And doing an absolutely fabulous job, but it is creating all kinds of interest for guys like Brock, as you said, Pudo et al. And I mean, so far, you know, they are not getting through on Lambeth. He's not blocking, he's just driving.
Yeah, doing a nice job. Kept his nose clean the entire time, doing everything he can. Brief interlude to show you this battle here, because this is going to get sorted for 3A. And that one is sorted. See if Skip Brock Jr. gets a run here on Lee into 3 or 4. Not enough, but this one back on it.
Oh yeah, here we go. There goes. And I'm sure Brock now, Michael Brock is going to be fuming, because now, while he's been attacking and doing all the hard work, Pudo just cherry picks the move, gets through on him here. Oh, that was close too, as Anderson almost got into the back of Brock. Now the problem is for Pudo here, Kyle, he's got to get through on Lambeth pretty quickly, or Brock's going to probably have an opportunity to come right back by on him.
Yep.
And this is where I would think we would see the racecraft of Nicholas Pudo come in.
I think so. I'm not sure how much it'll matter in the short term, because they are now 4.4 behind the lead. By the way, look who's found the leader.
Oh, look at this. Whoa, 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 whoa. And meanwhile, Hibbett going to or at least show the nose. Oh, was that close?
Look at Beans' heart rate. It's as low as it's ever been leading the race.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, these guys are dicing it up, obviously. Fletcher doing an absolutely superb job. Meanwhile, Brock and Wanshi Lin having a nice scrap chasing Lee.
Go back to the lead, because here comes Hibbett. Can't leave them alone for 3 seconds unattended.
No, you can't.
You put the baby gate up. They're getting themselves into trouble.
I've never heard that applied in racing here. I'm borrowing that one. Well, no, I'm going to steal it. So, all right, down through turn number 4. Here we go. Man, this is such a fun run here. You drop, you climb.
Oh, look at this lunge.
Dive into the inside.
Watch the apex. It gets tight right here. Beans leaves him plenty of room, and Jeremy Fletcher watching all this licking his lips, because he's going to be on top of these two shortly.
Yep. And Beans kept enough overlap, catching maybe a smidge of side draft. He's got some position here.
A lot of right hand.
Going way wide. Watch for him to try and square up coming off the turn. But I think he was too wide there to make that one work. But what he's doing, I think, he's exploring. He's learning. He's going, well, all right, if I get, if he gets back under me there, can I do that way wide around the outside? Every lap, especially on a technical track like this, it's exploration and learning, isn't it?
It is. In Camden, using a lot of that pavement at the exit of 7. There's tons of it out there, but you don't need or want to use all of it. And a little awkward kind of center track defense there for Forrester, just trying to make Hibbett make a choice.
I think, yeah, he went inside and then moved back to dissuade him a little bit. And Pudo now, as you said, has got up into that 8 spot. And Brock, Michael Brock, the 421, tried another move on Lambeth. Lambeth was in perfect position. Brock just floated out wide. Watch for maybe to see Anderson. Now he wasn't quite close enough. I thought he might get a really good run out of that turn.
Yeah, watch this again. Watch the gray and orange car next to the, I guess, the silver and orange and pink car. Here's this big send from Brock, and then he just gets in there a little too hot, opens the door, and you're going to see Lambeth go right back by.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Lambeth is a quick learner, isn't he?
He is. And 2 top 10s in your first round here in this highly competitive series is a very, very strong start.
I would say so. Absolutely. Yeah, really impressive.
Back up to 5th place, Dylan Lee. Deacon Greenfield here. Let's point out this number 20 again, having a really nice day here in Sonoma.
Absolutely. Then we set up from. Oh! Ooh. What a crossover move from Lee. Deacon watching him. Squeezes him a little bit, gets him up on the curb.
Wow, holy cow.
Massive curb hop. And that allowed Deacon just enough, and it cost Lee enough momentum that Skip Brock is through.
Yeah, that was a pretty good wallop there for Dylan Lee.
Yep.
Watch this again. Pow. That'll leave you sore the next day, I think. Look at this,
Absolutely.
battle for the lead again.
Here they go. Rinse and repeat, sort of.
Fletcher.
How about Fletcher, man? We talked earlier about going to school, and man, this guy is in a master class right now. Brock up into that 5th spot, and here comes Lee and Lynn. Don't think he's got enough here.
Yeah, a little contact there, actually leaving the corner.
Yeah.
Lee got into the back of Lynn, and again, these guys cannot leave him alone for too long. This is getting volatile here at the front. Hibbett's not really waiting for the best opportunity. He's taking what he can get right now, and that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I think here we're seeing Fletcher matching the speeds, being right there, and for Hibbett, I think he's looking in the mirror going, man, I just wanted to be mano a mano. Look at that big glance in the mirror. He wanted to be mano a mano with Forster like they were in the first race, and Fletcher simply having none of it. Here he goes again. Boy, he just chucks it down the inside.
He just picked Forster's pocket. Yeah, I think he's, not quite.
Oh, no, Forster's got that little bit of overlap.
Heart rate's up now, isn't it?
Pinging, yeah. And you know what that's a simple function of right there. And now Hibbett trying to dive down underneath, trying to square that up and get underneath. But what that's a function of is when Forster keeps that little bit of that overlap down at the bottom of the carousel where it joins the track, then at that point, Hibbett cannot just unwind the wheel, and he's got to check up a little bit because he can't use the full track. Watch it right here. And he knows right there, Beans is there. And if he does go out, and look how Beans squeezed him. He didn't even go to the edge of the track. That was savvy as hell.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
Really, really smart driving there from Beans Forster. And think back to Road Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. We were like, man, what's Beans doing keeping the nose in there? And now I get it. It just didn't work in that one corner.
Yep. Yeah, that was really, really cool. Ooh, and Brock.
Oh, he's got problems.
Yeah. I wonder if he had a similar thing as he had in the first race.
Yep. Looks like it. Just didn't know where he was going, couldn't see.
Yeah,
Great.
What a shame.
Great work there by Lambeth to kind of recognize something was going and keep the wheel unwound there for a bit.
5 minutes to go. Hibbett looking in. That's a tough place. The problem there is you're also pretty much equal paced up and over 3A. It's really tough to get enough of a run into 4. And when you don't, this is what happens. And suddenly, there's that gap.
Fletcher, big push, center of the corner.
Yeah, you can hear it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And the other thing is here, is what Hibbett's been doing with that big, just throw it down the inside into the carousel, is he trying to set up, sort of create the mindset in Bean's mind that he's going to do that on the last lap.
Yeah, but if I'm Beans, I would be interested in covering that off, because if he does it on the last lap, if Hibbett makes that same move, I don't think Hibbett is going to, hold back from washing out a little bit. So, you got to be careful.
Yeah, not bad, yeah.
Because, Kevin's been racing pretty clean, and if you're going to use up your one little, trade and paint moment, I would use it doing that maneuver. It seems to be very effective of getting overlap alongside Beans. He just needs to finish the job. Ooh, little contact there.
Oh, yeah. JP got Beans a little offline. Uh-oh, now what happens going up the hill?
A little damage to the nose of the 1/3, just the tiniest bit of damage, but that was not intended, I don't think.
No, I agree with you. Up the hill we go. 2 to go. Meanwhile, oh man, Deacon took a big look at Brock. And Skip has had a tremendous last couple of laps. He was 6th not that long ago, now 4th.
Yeah, Deacon wants it back badly.
Look at that look. Look at that face. That is just sheer concentration. This is one of those moments where you almost have to remind yourself mentally, breathe.
Yeah, he's going to have some pressure, I think, from Juan Sheetlin. I don't know if he's used up some tire or whatnot, but oh, here comes Camden again for this run up and through turn 5, and he's got overlap still, but now what do you do?
Yep, and that time Beans was able to stay even more up alongside him.
Oops, wrong hairpin.
Now, watch Camden. He's going to try and just do the entire outside here and see if he can get that overlap. He washes out. Or did he?
He's still there.
He's still there. He's still there. Oh, this is going to be fascinating. Beans is going to have the inside through 9, but if Camden can stay there, he's going to have it. Beans, did he clear him? He did not. So now we get them side by side through 10.
Yes.
Are we going to see it? Yes. Here we go. And look at Fletcher. He's trying to make it 3 abreast. He's got to run. He couldn't do it because Beans covered him just enough.
Oh, contact.
Last time, oh, Fletcher gets into Hibbett. Hibbett, fortunate to not hit those tires. There goes Brock. And about 3, 4, 5 more cars. And suddenly Forster off by himself. With about, what, a 4-second advantage as the white is out. And look at Brock.
Oh, boy.
And Fletcher having one heck of a battle here.
Deacon Greenfield's got a podium on the horizon. If he can pass one of these 2 cars, dangle that carrot. Let's see how aggressive he gets.
Yeah, no kidding. For Fletcher, I mean, I'm not sure that was intentional by any means.
No.
And he paid a terrible price. I mean, he's still 3rd, but look at that. Lee diving down inside Juan Sheetlin. And Hibbett going to try and take advantage of that. Oh, man, I thought for a minute he might try and split him.
Got nowhere to go. He's boxed in.
He's totally boxed, yep.
Well, Lee's wide and Lynn's through. Almost.
Now he's way out there now. Look at Hibbett. Just played that beautifully. Now can he do that? And look who's coming up behind him.
Nicholas Rice
Pudo.
We thought he ran out of positions to grab.
This could be really bad.
Oh.
Contact. Bump. Oh, and Hibbett's forced wide again. Rice Pudo is through. Hibbett still alongside Juan Sheetlin. They're in a shove fest at this point.
The elbows are out, digitally and physically, I'd bet.
Yeah, Hibbett finally gets that spot back. But to his chagrin, Rice Pudo's through.
Side by side in 10 for 2nd place.
Look at this. Both of them way off. Is Greenfield the other one trying anything? Brock on the outside. Look at what a dive by Greenfield. He might pull this off, Kyle.
Gonna be a drag race to the line.
Oh, look at this, Kyle. Who's it gonna be?
Close. It's close, but I think I don't even know yet. It was so close.
I know.
And
unbelievable.
Give it to Brock by 38 thousandths of a second.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That was incredible. And I mean, Fletcher wasn't that far clear. He was only, what, 51 thousandths? 5/100ths clear in 2nd. What a comeback drive for Fletcher. I don't know if that's going to stick, obviously, with the contact. Well, he might get a penalty point, but what a finish nonetheless. Look at Brock way out there. And here comes Deacon.
Yeah, this was mighty close right there. He had some more racetrack to play with. If he had come out maybe a couple more feet, but how could you know?
Yeah. And it was pretty obvious that Fletcher had his eyes to the left. Look at that.
That's cool.
He had his eyes to the left on JR or on Brock and never saw Deacon coming up. Wow. I'd like to see if we can go back and watch that last lap, half lap as well between Hibbett and Rice Pudo and that gang. There they are. This was some pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, I think Camden and Juan Chilin got into, as you called it, a bit of a shoving fest, and that's kind of opens the door for Rice Pudo to grab a 6th out of all this.
Yeah.
But 3 wide here. This wasn't going to work.
No, and Rice Pudo's just laying back going, pick your lane. There's hit 1, there's hit 2, and now Camden's going to come over, tap 3.
Yep.
Grind 4.
Who's keeping count at this point? Whoa, that was tight.
Oh, man, that was incredibly close.
And going back to the, right here, I don't think Camden knows about Dylan Lee, so when he gets hooked on Lynn, he's just assuming, why isn't Lynn turning?
Yeah, right? I agree.
So he won't really know until he goes back and sees that or just sees the pink car appear ahead of him.
Yep.
And then going back the lap prior, I think that was when we saw this is when we saw Fletcher get into Hibbett. Here's what he saw from on board his car.
I kind of want to watch this. Enjoy the sound. Oh, so tight.
Hibbett slowed a lot there, didn't he? That was kind of odd. But
yeah, I wonder if he wasn't trying to just pin the nose and cut back underneath.
Yeah.
And it just surprised. And I mean, that's tough to fault Fletcher there because that was an abrupt slow right there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think Camden will likely kind of confirm that story when we talk to him. But
yeah,
for Fletcher, there was no reason to dump Camden there. It wasn't like it helped him. So, yeah.
No. And he'd let him through earlier to help him.
Right.
So it's not like he was purposely going to do that.
No. Unfortunate, but there's a look at your race 2 results. Beans Forster picks up another win. This has been a good season for Beans, and the good fortune continues. Jeremy Fletcher, nice strong run tonight. We just mentioned that wreck, not all of his own doing, but a couple of podiums on the evening. Good to have him back with us.
Absolutely. Great job. And, I mean, let's give a shout-out to Rice Pudo after plummeting down the order after that contact at race 1. What a fight up into the top 6. That was pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, Chris Lambeth matches his 10th place from race 1, so a strong contender in his first round here. We'll see how he advances. Rice Pudo and Hibbett, again, not the days that they were hoping for, but Soto didn't really have a great one either, so the points leaders didn't really fully take advantage of Morgan Burkhardt's absence. Joshua Soto, we just mentioned him, 11th place. Wozencroft didn't have a great race 1, but rebounds for a 12th in race 2. Michael Brock, we saw have issues in both races, unfortunately. But, man, couple DNFs in race 2 as well. 4 drivers out. Perez, De Las Casas, Blethen, and Burton out with crash damage.
Yeah, it's a shame. Obviously, you hate to see any of those guys that come in here. But up front, did we have a show? It was absolutely fantastic. And, again, Skip Brock was on pole. He was outside of the front row for that first race, and a little problem in that first race, dropping back out of 7th, and then fighting his way into a podium here, and really nice job.
Well, let's chat with him. P3 in race number 2, Skip Brock Jr. Boy, it got exciting there at the end, and a little bit of shenaniganry there coming to the white flag, and didn't quite have the shot at the win you were hoping for, but it was a fun race here at Sonoma tonight. Take us through it.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to have a fun one there in race 2 and actually got the podium. I didn't really expect that, but you never know what's going to happen, especially with that final hairpin. So, yeah, it went really well. I mean, I just spent the whole race just kind of passing one car at a time, and and then I was in a good position for the final lap. And Fletcher just got his nose barely in on me on that fast right-hander. I guess it's like turn 10. And I didn't know what to do. I'm not used to it. I almost never drive this track, and neither does he. And so I think we both kind of went in there like, I don't know how this works side by side into this corner. And I went way wide because I just understeered. And yeah, he definitely deserved to beat me on that one because I just totally misplayed it. But yeah, I'm happy with the podium. It was awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, that drive up that you had, and a great qualifying run as well. So even though you don't drive here much, you clearly had some pace.
Yeah, I got a really good draft off of Dylan Lee, who was actually getting a draft off of Wanji Lin, and so the two of them combined gave me just the perfect lap. And I don't know, I don't even know if there's a 10th in there for me. It was a really quick lap for me. And I knew once that went down, like it was very unlikely it was going to get beat. I think with the new debris system, the qualifying session kind of gets slower as you go, and combined with these tires on these cars. So, yeah, I'm proud of it.
Well, and the fact that this is still the old scan, so this track is a real tire eater. The other thing I was going to just say, hey, congrats on your weekend at Road Atlanta, man.
Yeah, thank you. I had 2 shots for the win and I let them both go, but there's more races to come. I'm really excited for this season. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it is. Here and in the real world, you're doing a fabulous job. So glad you come and run with us, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'm having a blast.
Thanks, Skip.
Good deal.
Well, let's talk with Deacon Greenfield because he's waiting and he had a nice night tonight. P4 in race number 2 just missed out on a podium by 38 1/1000ths of a second, Deacon. Wow, that was a fun night from pretty far deep in the grid to a top 5 in race 1 and then battling up there in the top 5 in race 2. Man, Sonoma was good to you. Take us through your night.
Yeah, first of all, great race from everybody. I actually did not expect to be doing this well at this track. I was late to practice because of the updates. Unfortunately, took a little longer than I expected. But I jumped in and did the best I could. Quali wasn't great, but fortunately got through that big wreck at the last turn in lap 5 of turn 1. And that really set me up for this second race to have a great battle with Skip and Dylan Lee and Wang Shi. So all around, really, really great night. Really fortunate.
Yeah, and that battle that you had, I mean, we were just coming out of our chairs here that you guys put together. It was absolutely fantastic. Those are incredibly satisfying, especially, when you can run that well, isn't it?
Yeah. I haven't been up in the top 5 this season as much as I wanted to, but I know I've had the pace, so I'm really, really happy with this result. I saw the opportunity. I definitely put the elbows out with some of the defense tonight. And once I saw the collision between Jeremy and Camden, I had to pounce, and I gave it my all to try and stick as close to them, and I knew it was going to come down to the last corner, so ultimately it was as close as it could have gotten.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and that run to the finish was spectacular, man. Welcome to the top 5, bud. It's absolutely great to have you there. We know that's where you belong.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deacon. All right, Jeremy Flesher, P2 in race number 2 and P4 in race number 1. Jeremy, good to have you with us here. We saw the contact towards the end. Looking back at it, it looked like Hibbett kind of slowed up, a little overslowed, trying to maybe over-under Forster there. But I know you didn't mean to do that, and you certainly would have had a better shot at winning if it didn't happen. But take us through your night. You were up there battling with the best.
Bought the track, joined, and we were 2 minutes into quali already, so that was fun.
You seriously didn't know Sonoma until tonight?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
But the first race was kind of just staying out of the mess. The first big one I got somewhat involved in race 1, kind of made my way through. Had a good starting spot for race 2. It was going good there, and then kind of just got in too hot, got into Camden. Unfortunately, spun him around. Tried to give him the spot back, but it looked like he was getting stuck in the wall, so I kind of kept on going. But yeah, it was a really fun night, and happy to come out here and race with everyone.
Well, it was a great podium finish here. Got to ask you a question. Early in the race, it looked to me like you let Cam...
Oh, Greg, we lost you there for a sec.
Am I back?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jeremy. Early in this second race, it looked like you just let Camden through. Was that by design?
But yeah, I mean, I didn't think I had the pace to catch Beans. I kind of struggled staying with him. I kept messing up the downhill left and driving off all by myself. So I figured I'd let Camden go, give him a shot, and it kind of paid off in our favor. I mean, we broke the draft from P4 and kind of had our own little 3-car race going on.
Well, and it seemed to me that following Camden, who we know, with his previous championship and his speed, you just were able to maybe either use him as a carrot or learn a little bit here, because suddenly you just started to stick right with him as you guys marched to the front.
It was pretty solid. I appreciate him leading me around. And again, I already talked to him, apologize for getting into him and turning him around.
All right, well, that's class. Really appreciate that. I still think he maybe overslowed a little bit too. And but nice of you to do that. Great to see you up on the podium, and not just third, it's second place. Well done. Hope you're with us for the rest of the year.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeremy.
You bet.
All right, let's chat with Camden. Well, didn't work out in race 2 the way you'd hoped, Camden. I know we were just talking with Jeremy Fletcher. The contact, unfortunate there, but did manage to steal a win in race number 1. Overall thoughts on tonight at Sonoma?
Yeah, I mean, me and Jeremy, we talked about it. It's all good. He like you said, he got in a little deep on the brakes, and it is what it is. It's Spectrum XY racing, and unfortunately, that kind of stuff's gonna happen. So, all good there, no worries. It sucks that we couldn't go race for the win with Beans. Congrats to him. I know it's been a long time coming for him. He's been, I think he's got a win before, but it's been a while for him. So, super happy for him. Yeah, I mean, overall, this place is tricky. You know, you can't really pass very well. You saw in race 1, we were holding off to fight to the final 5 minutes, and then I think I got 1 or 2 shots at it maybe, and that was all I could do. So, and then in race 2, there really wasn't, like, all bets were off from the drop of the green flag, and I made a lot of attempts, but it's really hard to complete a pass here. There's a lot of corners that you're going left one corner, then you go the opposite way the next, so it's really hard to hold a position and make a pass stick through multiple corners. You kind of have to get it done all at once. So I felt really good in the carousel compared to Beans. I made a lot of moves up the inside, and I felt like I could get alongside him and do pretty well through there, but the problem is you get to I don't know what corner it is, the next corner after the carousel, and what are you going to do? You're stuck on the outside for a double right-hander, and unfortunately my strength, my strong corner was not in a great spot on the racetrack to complete some passes.
It looked too in race 1 that, you know, I saw you do a really wide run up through 1 into 2. Were you exploring, you know, looking at that point, you know, if I'm absolutely covered elsewhere, where can I maybe pop some sort of surprise?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be completely honest. I did 4 laps of practice before qualifying. I'm working on a project for another iRacing series that I'll be running in the next couple months here. News to come on that soon. But
cool.
So working on that project and lost track of time, and it was 6:55, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done a lap yet. I probably should practice. So yes, I was still exploring throughout race 1 because I did not have a ton of laps here, and it was definitely a game of what's fast. The curb in turn 3, I believe it is. You have to either take all of it or not take it at all because it upsets the rear of these cars. The differential in these cars, both in the sim and real life, really don't have. They're not great. You get up on a curb and it just spins them up way easier than most other cars. So the advantage that I have is being able to know these cars, and being able to know these cars allows me to learn tracks quickly like that. But yeah, definitely some exploring going on in race 1, and even a little bit in race 2 there, just trying to figure out mainly how to get around Beans, because he was doing a great job at playing some defense. And yeah, I think it was gonna be a really good race. But like I said, no hard feelings between me and Jeremy. It happens, and we'll move on.
Absolutely. I do want to ask you one thing though. You've talked about this being tricky, a little tough to pass on. How fun is this place to drive and race though?
It's a blast. I mean, I had never ran this layout before. I'd driven the track before, but I never ran this layout. I normally run the old NASCAR layout where you take the little short chute and go right back into the S's where you don't use the carousel. So the carousel took me almost all the way through race 2 to finally figure out like what was the fastest line through there, because you exit onto a drag strip that's endlessly car widths wide, and you don't know what is going to be fast. I mean, you saw Beans making good time running around the outside and then coming into the inside and hitting an late apex. Me doing almost a dive bomb down to the early apex and then just wrapping the dirt all the way around. This track has a lot of different ways to drive it, which I think was a benefit for me, because I could almost pick whatever line I wanted it, and I could figure out how to make it work. But it also opens up the door for passing opportunities to create or to happen, and it opens the door for a lot of passing opportunities like you saw in race 2, but it's very hard to make them stick because of how technical this track is and how how much of a rhythm this you need to run around this place. So I really enjoyed the racing tonight. I think this was a great fit for these cars, and as being said, that talking to him earlier, this was the first race in all season that it hasn't been like fully draft track, and it was nice. It was a nice change to be able to get a little bit of a gap. I think I had about a second gap at one point in race 1. I was like, okay, maybe I can pull a Morgan and break away here, but made a mistake and brought myself right back to the field, of course. So not Morgan Burkhardt-esque quite yet, but working on it.
Yes, sir, you are. And I'll tell you, it's so fun to watch you guys through turn 10, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Camden. And last but certainly not least, Beans Forster joins us, and race 2 victory, and you didn't have to freak out on the last lap in the last corner because you had a 6-second advantage by virtue of some contact in the back, but you got a second place in race 1 that was a little bit tighter. Take us through your night. It was fast, fun, and competitive from our perspective.
Yeah, definitely a great night. It's nice to come to one of the more technical tracks. You do get a little bit of the draft here at Sonoma, but it's a lot more technical than a lot of the tracks we've previously raced this season. And I think that's kind of where I shine a bit more, and I felt a little bit more comfortable and kind of turned down the aggression a little bit because I've had some unfortunate events happening in previous races that I could have completely avoided and whatnot. So just kind of dialed it back a little bit, tried to stay a lot more calm and collected. And I'm like, I think I looked at my heart rate, and the peak was like 146. So it's a lot less than what it's usually running. So I think it just kind of worked out for me. That was the formula for me tonight.
I was going to make the point that we cut to you when you were leading and your heart rate was only 95, and we had seen you in the 120s before, just riding around in 3rd or 5th or whatever. So I noticed that tonight as well. So it's interesting that you make that point.
Yeah, but definitely a great race. It was really fun, especially there at the end, racing with Jeremy and Camden. A little bit unfortunate what happened behind me, but Camden was telling me that he was surprised one of the laps when he kind of showed the nose into the carousel, and I didn't make a defense on it. And I remember previous laps, and then seeing the laps after that, I was just able to hold that outside so well. So I'm just kind of left the door open for him the entire time, and I was able to hold the inside for turn 7 and just make the run on the exit. So kind of one of those impromptu decisions that I kind of made throughout the race where I'm just going to let him go for it, and because I'm pretty confident that I can hold that outside, because that was my weakest corner through both races tonight. So it's nice to see when you come up with a plan like that and it actually works out.
Well, and I got to tell you, hey, Kyle, can you back that video up we're watching right here to that run through the carousel again? Because, Beans, you showed some incredible racecraft here, because look at the exit here. You didn't run all the way out to the exit curb. You gave a good 3-4 feet, and that pinned Camden and robbed him of rolling speed. Look at that. You could have used that, slowed him down. Man, that was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. Just slowing him down a little bit like that. And you did that a couple of times. I watched you do that, and I went, that's just absolutely great racecraft.
Yeah, thank you very much, Greg.
Because if you just opened it all the way up there, he may have been able to roll a little bit more speed. Who knows? But I thought it was fabulous, man. That was incredible.
Yeah, it's something I kind of actually talk about during our Racecraft Academy sessions on Thursdays. Is with this being such a low-power car and very momentum-based.
Yep.
When you make runs and stuff like that, you don't necessarily have to use the entire track to kind of keep the peak speed that you need to on exit. And so I think that was just one of those moments where I felt it in the wheel where I'm comfortable having the car here and keeping it nice and tight to Camden and not kind of leaning and bouncing off of each other.
Yeah.
But not having to use all of that exit, it's just come from some of the stuff that we teach during the Racecraft Academies.
Yeah, well, so it was brilliant. Well done. Third win of the year. And with both Rice, Puto, and Soto behind you, you're each eking forward again, man. Way to go.
I'm trying to. Got to make my way back there again.
There you go.
I'm not letting this championship down. I'm gonna fight for it till the very end.
Nope, you're on your way, man. Well done.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Beans. All right, Greg. Wow, another great night. Sonoma's fun. Every time I come here, I never look forward to it that much because it looks terrible. But that's hopefully iRacing's fixing that. But as far as the racing, it was a great night, and there's more great racing coming up on the calendar in coming weeks. Of course, the schedule next takes us in 7 days' time up a little closer to my neck of the woods, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. Another one of the American greats, Greg.
It is, and it's a lot like this track in a way where it's very technical. You've got those blind approaches up and over, and then the jumps and the like. It just doesn't have quite the elevation that this place does, but in many ways it's very similar. And we're going to be running it, on the older scan here too, I think. So the track doesn't have a lot of grip, and as a result, it just promotes some great racing. And I, for one, having missed for one reason or another every time this league is raced at Mid-Ohio, and I love this track. I'm doing everything I can to not get sick. I'll announce it if I'm in a coffin. I'm going to do it this time.
Well, let's hope we don't have that to worry about. But
yeah,
I'm excited
too.
for it too.
I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, this place is great. It put on a good show every season we come here. But from one technical course to another, from Sonoma to Mid-Ohio. Then we had to Summit Point, which is entirely its own challenge. VIR, Road America, and Watkins Glen. We finish out on some big, fast ones to end the first season of 2025.
Yeah, those big, fast ones. The draft will play a lot more of a role. But they were talking about what they liked here at Sonoma. Same thing at Mid-Ohio. Technical, there's a couple of spots where you get a little bit of a draft, but they're drivers tracks, not drafting tracks. And that is, what makes it so exciting. So anyway, just a fabulous night of racing. It's what we've come to expect. Thankfully to Court Schmidt and Full Send Sims. Practice makes podium. And that's what they're working for. And a big thank you to them as always. Also to Sabelt for coming on board. And Farah, coming on board last year. And then, of course, our dear friends at Final Turn Motorsports and 3P Logistics, right with us from the beginning. And then, of course, Wine Country Motorsports. So absolutely incredible night here at Sonoma. We look for the same next Tuesday night live on YouTube at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for Finney and DeCuna, doing a great job on the cameras again. And Kyle, I'm Greg Creamer. We'll see you in a week at Mid-Ohio.